Hi, I'm Nelson Hill, Electronics Service Team Leader here at Yalaba USA. Today we're going to talk about the analog inputs that are optional on the DYNEO circulator. There's a module, .A is the part number that you would order, and it would include 3 analog connections. So I have a little test box we made up here to show the alarm output. So when pins 2 and 3 are connected, now this is set up so that it's in standby. When it's in standby, or if it's in alarm mode, it will have pins 2 to 3 connected. When it is actually operating, you'll see it switch over to pins 1 to 2. Now we can go into the menu, connect unit, analog interface, analog module, and if we select the alarm output, so currently we have standby, but we can also change this to reverse standby so that pins 1 and 2 would be connected when it's in the standby mode. Alarm, again, inverse alarm, or alarm and standby, so that if the unit goes into an alarm mode, it would switch over, as well as if it's in standby mode. The standby connection is either active or inactive. So if we activate it, you're going to notice it says E off in the display. And in order to start the unit, I have a jumper plug here. You would have to close the switch contact, and in this case it says off. If you had it set for auto start, it would start up right away. So we have it running. If you disconnect or open up that switch contact, it's going to shut off and display E off in the display. If we inactivate it, it'll go back to regular off. So we have 2 options here for the EPROG out. First is the outputs. You can set the value. So if you want to have, say, the internal temperature on channel 1, you can set what the temperature range is. So now the output for the internal at 20 would be 0 volts, and at 10 volts would be 200C. And you can do the same thing for channel 2. Channel 3 is the current output. So say we want to change that to power. Now this can be set for 0 or 4 to 20 milliamps output. So if we select 0 and 100% for 20 milliamps. So that'll be the outputs on those 3 channels. For the input, you need to scale the input to your voltage or current source. So we've got a process calibrator that we use in-house. So I'm sourcing 0 volts at this point to the input. So the input, again, can be set point, power, or flow, although we don't have a flow meter for this. So if you set it for set point, voltage, you would input your lower value on your analog signal. So I'll set that to 20. Now we need to switch over to our 10 volt output. Give it a little while for the voltage output to stabilize. Now you can see that the voltage measurement right now is 9.79, even though my calibrator says it's outputting 10 volts. So now if I go down to roughly half the value, we have a little bit off, but 110 degrees Celsius, so almost exactly dead in the middle. If you don't set this up, it may not interpret your voltage or current signal. And again, you can change it to current, and then you would input either your 0 or 4 milliamp and then your 20 milliamp signal. It would remember whichever input you put into it. So I have to change the external set point to EPROG in the menu. And now you'll see it says EPROG and shows the 110. Now if I want to drop it down again, so when you start it, it's going to operate off of the input on the EPROG. If you wanted to switch it out of external set point EPROG, select off, and now you're back into your manual set point on the keypad. It also indicates on the display that it has the analog module with the A in a box. If it does not have that module, that will not be on your display. And that's how you use the analog inputs outputs on your DYNEO-DD circulator.